Ellen DeGeneres making millions, Rick Hilton gone rogue, Aston Martin building skyscrapers, and 100 million square feet of office space sitting vacant in Manhattan. We've got a lot going on this week, guys. Let's get into it. So Ellen DeGeneres has kind of had a knack for luxury real estate for as long as I can remember, and she just dropped another 70 million bucks for a compound in Santa Barbara, setting a record for the area. There are actually two lots here that she bought, so the $70 million is broken up into two neighboring deals. The first is at 2781 Padaro Lane. She paid about $42 million for this 9,000 square foot house sitting on around 3.5 acres looking right out over the ocean. And then she also scooped up this one for just over $28 million. This one is basically just a 6.5 acre lot, but owning it gives her a ton more privacy for the main house next door. The seller of these properties was a retired hedge fund manager named Bruce Kovner, and he's actually been trying to sell these properties plus a couple more neighboring lots for a while now, so I'm sure it was a relief to be able to sell two deals in one bundle. But Ellen definitely got a bargain here, so you can see in the price history, just that first lot was listed for sale for $80 million alone last year. So the fact that she got this one plus the other lot for $70 million total is pretty awesome. Like I said, Ellen and her partner Portia have been involved in a ton of big real estate deals over the years. According to Architectural Digest, they have bought and sold around 20 properties since 2003. And we don't have time to do a deep dive into Ellen's real estate investing history, but we have to check out some of the highlights. She has made a fortune buying and selling houses. Back in 2003, she bought a house for $6 million before flipping it to Will Ferrell 3 years later for $9 million. In 2004, she bought a house for $1.275 million before reselling it to Heath Ledger for $2.1 million just a year later. In 2007, she bought a house in Montecito for $15.75 million and flipped that one for $20 million. In 2008, she bought a compound for $29 million bucks before flipping it over to Ryan Seacrest for $37 million just 4 years later. And then skipping over a bunch and fast forwarding to 2019, they bought another mansion in Montecito for $27 million, then flipped it for $33.3 million just 1 year later. A lot of the celebrities who buy these crazy mega mansions out in California end up overpaying and losing millions of dollars when they sell, but from what I can tell, Ellen has a pretty perfect track record when it comes to her real estate investing. Pretty cool. Next up, we've got some pretty big news in the Los Angeles real estate broker scene. Rick Hilton, the partner and co-founder of one of the top boutique luxury real estate brokerages in the world, Hilton Hyland, has sold his stake in the company to his late partner Jeff Hyland's wife, Lori Hyland, and Lori will be taking 100% ownership in the brokerage. You might remember earlier this year when Jeff Hyland sadly passed away after a battle with cancer. That news definitely shook the friends, family, and business associates who knew him. Well, ever since Jeff passed away, the Hilton Hyland brokerage has been having a bit of a rough ride. Several key agents have left the company, including Drew Fenton, Linda May, and Billy Jack Carter. And the group has gone from about 150 luxury real estate agents at the start of the year all the way down to 76 agents today. Rick Hilton and Jeff Hyland founded Hilton Hyland back in 1993, and over the course of the next 30 years, they did billions and billions of dollars in real estate sales. But I think that with Jeff's passing, plus with Rick Hilton reaching almost 70 years old, the firm was just ready for a reset. I found it a bit odd that Lori Hyland decided to buy out Rick's interest in the company. I mean, as far as I know, she has no experience in real estate. She's a painter who specializes in large abstract work with a degree in visual art. But presumably, she just wants to inject some new life into the company and build it back up to what it once was before her husband passed. Unfortunately, Lori declined an interview for this video. I would have loved to get her perspective on what her plans are with the brokerage Hilton Hyland. But we also got news that Rick Hilton actually isn't giving up on the real estate game. He actually just announced that he is going to be launching a new brokerage with his son called Hilton and Hilton. Creative name. Let's get out of LA and zoom over to Florida next, because Aston Martin just released their $59 million penthouse at the top of their luxury building in Miami. I thought Aston Martin only made luxury cars, but it turns out they have gotten heavy into the real estate game as well, with a 66-story skyscraper that's selling out in Miami. And I'm not gonna lie, it turns out a luxury car maker can do a pretty good job developing luxury real estate as well. Check it out. So before we look at the skyscraper in Miami, first, this is actually an Aston Martin designed house that was announced in November of 2022, which is already sold to a private buyer. That house is pretty cool, but these Miami residences are on another level. This is a serious real estate development project. They're called the Aston Martin Residences, and this luxury skyscraper has been in construction since 2014 when they bought the 1.2 acre site for $125 million. It's located at 100 Biscayne Bay on one of the last waterfront parcels in Miami. It's sandwiched between a couple of other skyscrapers, and due to its location, it will be offering a full-service marina that will have room to park your super yacht. These multi-million-dollar units in this building have been selling like hotcakes. Last I read, they were over 90% sold out in the building. The residences in here range from the studios at the bottom, which are just 698 square feet, and then they go all the way up to the penthouse units, which are over 10,000 square feet. They're offering 391 total units spread over 66 floors. And before we get into the penthouse, just check this out really quick. Look at the shape of these units. Since the building has this like sail shape from the outside, the units on the inside are all oval shaped around the perimeter. It's kind of cool, but it also might be a little bit weird to not have a single square room in your entire condo. Floors 52 through 55 are the amenity floors. These are the floors that have the swimming pool, the conference rooms, the business center, the gym, the spa, the lounge, basically everything that you'd expect in a building like this. But back to that penthouse that they just released for sale at the top of the building. This place is 20,000 square feet and it occupies floors 63, 64, and 65 of this building. Photos of this $59 million unit are being kept private, so we only get to see some renderings from the Aston Martin website. But the icing on the cake for this deal is if you buy the penthouse, you also get a rare Aston Martin Vulcan. This is a 1 of 24 car with a value of over $2 million alone. Awesome. Leaving Miami and cruising over to Manhattan, we have a serious problem over here with commercial office space. Now, vacant office space around the country has been on the rise for a while, but there's actually over 100 million square feet of office space available around Manhattan. 100 million square feet, that is an unimaginable amount of space. It's not all that surprising that we've got vacant space on our hands, considering after the pandemic, a lot of companies have either been downsizing or flipping to a more remote working type structure, meaning they literally just don't need all that space anymore. I spent 15 years in corporate America myself, and 2 of those years were in a remote leadership position. And what I could say from my experience is that generally speaking, employees were just as productive working from home, and even more importantly, they were happier. That's just my experience, but if other companies are seeing the same trend with happier employees, equal productivity, and higher retention rates, then something tells me these work from home positions are going to stick around for the long haul. And if that's the case, the commercial office sector as we know it around the world will be changed forever. Now, if you're somebody who owns commercial office space in Manhattan and that space is sitting half empty or completely empty, you are going to be stuck with a bill every single month of thousands or even $1 million to pay all of your expenses. This is scary because what it means is that if these buildings sit vacant for too long, then these owners are going to be either forced to sell, forced into foreclosure or bankruptcy, or in the event that that building owner has enough capital to work with, they need to reconsider the use of that building altogether. Converting office space to apartments is a growing trend in the country right now. I'm even seeing it out here in Arizona where I live, and I think we're going to see more and more of it over the coming years. We're in a situation where we have way too much office space and not enough housing, so the only logical thing to do in a situation like this is convert some of that office space into housing. Easier said than done though. The cost, the rezoning, and the permitting associated with doing this are astronomical, so that's for sure a big hurdle here, but I'm dying to see what happens with all of this vacant office space around Manhattan. I hope that everybody had an awesome Christmas. That's if you celebrate Christmas, and if you don't, I hope you had a nice holiday season and you have a great new year and all of that. And as always, thank you guys for watching. I so much appreciate every single one of you guys who watch these videos and who hit the like button and who chat with me down in the comments. It really helps keep me motivated to keep cranking these videos out. But that's all I've got for you guys today. I'll see you guys next time.